Good morning, everybody. Yes, we are live. Yes, and it is. What day is it? It's Thursday. The spirit world sees all, and it is 7/7, the 7th of July, the 7th month of the 7th day, and the number 7 is my number. So I always think, oh yes, what's going to transpire on the 7th of the 7th. And what I'm hoping for is that all of you, everyone who joins us, and I'm going to say this again in another 10 minutes or something, because I know that some of you are a bit late joining. Um, we will stay live for as long as, until the hour is up, of course, for as long as you participate with me. You got to write questions, bring up topics, whatever it is that you would like for us to talk about, we will attempt to talk about. And if it's a topic that I really don't want to talk about, which is rare because I'm pretty open minded about this stuff, so whatever you want for us to talk about, if we deem it appropriate, then that's what we shall do. So, Chris, first of all, good morning to Great Eagle, who is standing to my right side as always. And good morning to Chris. Where are you, Chris?
I'm still locked in the closet, Rosemary. Will you please let me out?
Oh, you have to do that little voice. I'm locked in the closet. I'm trapped in a mouth. You know how the ventriloquists do that. I'm trapped in a mouth. You won't let me out. Okay, all right then. Let's get off that silly topic. Right? Is there anybody there, Chris?
We do have people beginning to log in.
Okay, all right then. So we should wait for a few minutes. So, Chris, while we're waiting for people to log in, how are you doing? Tell us a little bit about your week this week.
My week has been exciting and busy in your office.
Oh, really? Oh, good. Was I there? Did I miss it? I'm,
Well, there are
I'm,
certainly some things that you do miss
I'm,
because that's what you don't want to do. But the other things you are leading and
oh,
doing some really exciting things that I think you should talk about.
well, I'm very proud of myself then. Should I be proud of myself? Yes, we are planning. We have promised long enough. We're going to be doing different things and so on. So we have now, let's see, 4 workshops. Actually, 4 workshops, a couple of interviews. Oh gosh, we're going to be so busy over the next couple of months. Um, One of the biggest things, and I'm really excited about, is that I am going to, excuse me, I'm going to Connecticut at the end of August. I think it's the date is the 27th of August. I'm going on a Saturday morning to Connecticut, and we are going to be doing our first live in person. Yes, you will be able to meet and greet me. You'll be able to give me hugs and kisses. You'll be able to, well, don't get too close. Oh, I don't care. I like hugs and kisses. So you'll be able to sort of work with me, be with me, and we're going to be talking about how to raise our level of consciousness. We're going to be talking about how we can become more in tune and more attuned to our own inner self, and also more in tune to those in the spirit world. And of course, as I always do, we're live, of course. I'm hoping that the spirit world is going to be tapping on my shoulder. I'm pretty sure that they will be. I think hopefully the news has gone out to the spirit world. I'm there. I've got a live audience, and if you're coming to be with me for the 3 hour session that we're going to be having there, trust me, I'm sure that the spirit world will be tapping me on the shoulder, and we will be giving out messages from the spirit world to those who are in our audience. Some of those who are in our audience anyway. So look, here's what you're getting. You're getting the whole kit and caboodle. I'm going to be showing you what it is that you need to do to be more in tune. I'm going to be helping you to discover, the inner power within you, and not to be afraid to to use that power. Gosh, I'm going to be doing all sorts of things. And as I've said, I'm going to be talking to the spirit world as well. And most important of all, we're going to be having a lot of fun while we do it. My lovely host, Christy, is going to be there. It will be in her, the event will be held in her, I don't want to say bookstore because I know that's not right, Chris. What is it?
Well, it's the Angel Cooperative is the business, but they do have an event room. Plus, she does have a bookstore.
Right. So anyway, so yes, so it's going to be very, very exciting. It's going to be a very exciting day. So we should be there on the 27th Saturday morning. So that's one exciting thing. Okay. Now I should have done an interview yesterday with our lovely Marla, and you have to go to the website to find these things out because we don't have time to explain it all in detail. But we were going to do a lovely interview with Marla, and unfortunately, she had to cancel because of some family issues. So, but we shall reschedule that, and when that's ready to go out, we shall let you know what we're doing with that also. And what else is going on? Oh, yes. Now, let me see. We've also, you see, look, I'm getting excited. Chris is so excited, so beside herself. I'm just taking it in my stride, but it is exciting. We are going to be doing three separate workshops with Chris. What is their official title?
The Infinity Foundation, based out of Chicago, Illinois.
So the Infinity Foundation. Now we're going to be doing this. This is going to be all online. So wherever you are in the world, you can join us when we do that. Now we shall be putting the dates up probably within the next few days. We should be putting that up on our website. It isn't on our website yet, but I think it's fair to say one is in October, right?
Yes, October 15th.
Okay, one is
December 17th.
December the 17th, just before Christmas.
And then the other's February 4th of 2023.
And one is February the 4th. So we've got those to look forward to. Plus, we'll be doing our own thing as well. So all of these things will be up on the website. So if you want to join me, let's see. Chris, give us a very brief description of the workshops that we're doing with the Infinity Foundation.
Well, I can give you the titles, Rosemary. Connecting with the Spirit World is the October 15th.
Does that mean they're going to be messages? Could it mean?
Isn't that our greatest hope?
I think so. But we'll be doing more than that. We'll be talking again about, sort of how we can attune, how each of us has the ability to tune in to, our senses, to tune into our sixth sense. What is the sixth sense anyway? Oh, wait, I'll tell you in the workshops. But anyway, so what's the second one, Chris?
The Art of Healing, which is Saturday, December 17th.
Which also is going to be great because we're going to be talking about energy. We're going to be talking about the use of color in healing and how important that is. And we're going to be talking about how you can give healing to your own self, but also how you can give healing to others, even others around the world, and yes, beyond. Now, when we were sort of tightening up the descriptions of this workshop, there is one part of that which literally says, connecting with the spirit world. No, sorry, learning about giving healing to our own selves, people around the world, and beyond. And Chris said to me, I don't think we need the and beyond, do we? And I said, of course we need the and beyond, because is it possible? Here's a question that you might want to ruminate on during this morning's show. Do you like the word ruminate? I do too. Anyway, you might want to think about, chew over, ruminate, the possibility. Is it possible? And anyway, why would we do it? Why would we do it? Is it possible? And why would we want to give healing to our loved ones in the spirit world. Can we send healing to our loved ones in the spirit world? Should we send healing to our loved ones in the spirit world? I'm helping you to ruminate, right? I'm helping you to think about these things. And yes, of course, we send healing to our loved ones in the spirit world. Why wouldn't we? I send healing to my daddy all the time, and he just poked me on the nose for that comment. Anyway, we, of course, every time we think about them, we think about them with love, and every time we put ourselves out there with love, with joy, with those wonderful thoughts that we have for our loved ones in the spirit world, we are sending them healing. We're sending them our healing thoughts, and that can make a huge difference to them. In what way, you might ask? Well, you have to come to the workshop. What is the third workshop, Chris? The February workshop.
Acceptance as the path, freedom as the destination.
Yeah.
And that's going to have the bottom brick exercise.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yes. I'm going to be doing the bottom brick exercise, and oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, yes, we are going to be doing that. So you'll love that. I'm going to be showing you how, through my example of taking someone and doing the bottom brick with someone. And you can do this anyway, because if you go to our work, if you go to our whatever that is, our webinar, no, our website even, if you go to our website, you can see just by watching somebody doing the bottom brick exercise, just watching me, just watching how I help them through the discovery of that very first drop of poison, or that very first moment that we remember feeling less than. And if you watch how I do this, and you watch people's responses, you can learn to do this for your own self. You can take yourself through the same process, even using sometimes some of the questions that I'm asking somebody in the bottom brick. Ask them of yourself. So, even though the bottom brick exercise is for our bottom brickers, and we know that we love our bottom brickers, even though when we do the bottom brick exercise, it seems to be for that one person, no, it is not, because like everything else, when I give a message, for instance, or if I give somebody healing, anyone who's around will get the benefit of what we're doing. They'll get that same feeling of energy. So often, if I'm in a large hall or a theatre and I'm giving a message to someone, there are so many people who will come up to me afterwards and say, that sounded just like my mother, or that just sounded like my father. There are so many people who, yes, they apply it to themselves, and they are right to do so. So, Chris, where are we?
Well, we do have questions and comments coming in, Rosemary, if you want to start there.
No, we are. I'm going to first of all, I'm going to give you something else to ruminate on, everybody. When I've given you this thing to ruminate on, now I really mean, here's the thing. Yesterday, I said to someone, I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't want you to answer it. I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it. In other words, I love this word, ruminate. I'm going to have to put that down as one of my words that we deal with on our Instagram. You don't know about that? You don't know what we're doing on Instagram? Oh my goodness, we've got so much to tell you. Anyway, I'm going to give you something to think about. I'm going to, and then, having given it a little bit of thought, if you want to ask me some questions about that also, of course you can do so. But we need your questions and your comments coming in. Otherwise, when they dry up, I know sometimes you are so fascinated by what we're saying to you. I know sometimes that you are so stunned by what we tell you that you forget to write in your questions and your comments and so on. But this show is all about participation. If you participate with us, we will participate with you. But if you decide that you're not going to participate with us, we've got nothing else to do. We've got nothing else to say. So don't let us down. All right. So now, here is the thing that I'm going to throw out to you, which I would like you to think about. The person that I did this with yesterday, and it was an entirely different question, didn't hear me say, or chose to ignore me, say, and don't answer me, I want you to think about it. And answered straight away. And of course, did not do what I asked to do, which means the point of the exercise, oh, well, it was lost. It was pointless, wasn't it? So when I say to you, that don't answer the question quite yet, but think carefully about it, then I'd love to have your comments. I'd love to see if you understand what it is that I'm saying. I'd love, love, love to do that. So here it is. Are you ready for this? And once I've said this, Chris, then we'll go to comments and questions. Is this an exciting show already? Can you feel, or are you all pepped up, everybody? Because I am pepped up and ready to go. Here it is. This is something that I say often to lots of people, especially those who are struggling. They're struggling with an idea. They're struggling perhaps that their life isn't going the way that they wanted it to go. They're struggling because for whatever reasons, they are struggling. So here is what I will often say to people, and are you ready for this? I will say, and those who know me very well have heard me say this so many times, it's easy when it's easy. It's not so easy when it's hard. I shall say it to you again. You might want to write it down. Ruminate over it a little bit if you'd like to, or not. It's your choice. So here we go. I'll say it to you again. It's easy when it's easy. It's not so easy when it's hard. Okay, Chris, why don't we go and tackle the questions and the comments and all that stuff? Let's go.
All right. So we start off with Rhonda saying, "Good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning, darling.
Thank you for the motivational today bits this week.
Good.
You inspire me every day to be a kinder, gentler person."
Oh, good. Thank you.
We want to know where Rhonda is finding these motivational bits today. Is it on Twitter? Is it on Instagram? Is it on one of your 3 Facebook pages? Is it on LinkedIn?
Is it? I feel as if I'm involved in the middle of an examination here, Chris. It could be anywhere, right? Where is the Easter egg? Where did the Easter Bunny put that? Yes, Rhonda, where did you find those little bits of information that are so inspiring you? We'd love to know where you're getting them from. We know we're putting them out there, and we know where we're putting them out. But we'd love to know where you guys find them. Which are you most in tune with? Are you most in tune with Instagram? Are you most in tune with Twitter? Where do you go first thing in the morning when you open your eyes? And because this is what people do nowadays, don't they? They open their eyes. Before you've really opened your eyes, you're reaching for the phone. You're reaching for whatever it is that your connection to your Facebook page or media page or whatever it is you use. So we'd love to know where you get these things from. Chris.
Judith is saying, "Rosemary, do you think if we pay attention that we get premonitions when it's time for us to pass out of body?"
Oh, without a doubt. Wait a minute, Judith. Yes and yes, because when you're talking about passing out of the body, you can do that on a temporary basis. You can go out and in and out and in. But I think maybe if I'm wrong, let me know. But I think, are you asking, do we have some sort of intuitive knowledge prior to how our passing into the spirit world, in other words, dying, using that word that we don't believe in? But and the answer is absolutely yes, I do believe so. Now, some of us don't pay attention, some don't listen, some just, it's sort of like a cobweb across your face and you brush it away irritably and don't even think about it. But for others, it's absolutely, definitely there. And very often people don't quite know what it means, which is probably a good thing. I remember, and this happened to friends of mine in England. They'd they had a sort of a boy at university, a son at university, and all of his friends. It must have been some holiday time, and all of his friends turned up, and they were celebrating. It might have been something like his 21st birthday or something. Anyway, they were celebrating a big birthday. And so all these kids who'd known each other from, sort of junior school, they lived in the neighborhood together, they'd been friends for years, they all got together. So they decided one day, they all piled into a car, and this kid was driving, and he pulled up. There was a particular place close to where they lived, and he pulled up, and it's sort of a high spot and known as a beauty spot. And the view from this place was really remarkable. It was beautiful. And they all piled out of the car, and they stood looking down over the valley, looking over the hills, and it was a beautiful, beautiful view. And he said to no one in particular, but out loud, he said, this would be just the best place to die. And a week later, he was in his car. He was involved in a head-on collision exactly on that spot. He died exactly on that spot. So was there something telling him? Was he being prepared? I do believe that we are prepared. He probably did not realize it at the time, but I think, the spirit was, when it is approaching our time, whether it's sudden or whether it's slow, doesn't matter. When we're approaching our time, in one way or another, we are being prepared. Chris.
Tiger Pixie says, hi.
Hi,
I was wondering what I should do if I get, quote, stuck on a lower vibration and just feeling depressed. Is there any help I can request from the spirit world?
Oh, without a doubt. You seem to me, Tiger Pixie, to be a perfect candidate for our healing. And we're going to be doing our healing event on Monday morning. I'm going to be talking about healing. I'm going to be showing you how to give healing both to yourself and to others, and also talking about reaching those, that healthy, happy vibrational level, and how you can adjust and how you can bring your level of vibration to a point where you're humming and you're good and you're feeling great. So we're going to be doing some of that on Monday morning at 10 a.m. You can join us then at 10 a.m. on Monday morning. What are we doing it on, Chris? Are we doing it on YouTube, or what are we doing it on?
It'll be in the same things we're doing right now, Rosemary. So YouTube, your Facebook channels, LinkedIn.
Okay. So, all right. So, and if you want to know how to connect in and you're not quite sure how to connect in, go to the Facebook page, rosemaryaltea.com, and it'll tell you how to, it'll tell you how to do that, how to click on the link or whatever it is you have to do. But that will be 10 a.m. this coming Monday morning. What's the date of that, Chris? Can you?
Monday morning's date is the 11th of July.
So on the 11th of July, we should be doing our healing session. So Tiger Pixie, join us, and I will be sending healing directly to you if that's what you would like me to do. Chris.
GUC from Italy says, are you going to come to Italy? I live near Naples. I would like to meet you in person.
Are you going to invite me? All right. I had planned to go to Italy last year, and in fact we were all set for the summer, and then certain things happened, and one of them was that I broke my foot. I think that might have had something to do with it, but anyway, unfortunately we didn't make it. But if you would like to invite us, or if anyone anywhere in the world, right, throwing it out to you, and we know that we have people all over the world connecting in here. So if anyone anywhere in the world would think to themselves, I would really love it for Rosemary to come here and maybe do a workshop or maybe do a weekend something. I mean, please, feel free to invite us because we will consider anything and everything that you might suggest to us. We had our lovely Christy, who is in Connecticut, whose workshop we're doing on the 27th of August, and that's what she did. She emailed and she said to Chris, is there any chance? So we said, well, I guess there might be. And look what happened. And here we are going to Connecticut. So please feel free. If you want me to come somewhere, maybe you might have to do a little work to get me there. But hey, we're open to anything, right, Chris? We're open to anything.
Absolutely. All right. So Mary's saying, my friend loaded her clothes in the dryer and accidentally killed her cat. She is upset. Do you have any words of encouragement? And please, any messages for me?
Well, my darling, let's deal with the puss. Oh, what an awful thing to have happened. And I mean, isn't it? It's just so easy to do it. But I am absolutely certain that the cat is safe and well. I'm absolutely certain that, I mean, accidents happen. So please tell your friend not to give herself a tough time about it, a hard time about it. I'm sure that the cat has survived and is doing well. But what an awfully traumatic thing for her to have to go through. That's awful. And what a nice friend you are to be so concerned about her. So kudos to you. Okay, Chris.
Julia says, hello and lots of love from the Netherlands.
Hi, Julia.
My son will receive his middle school diploma tonight. I am so proud of him. Lots of love to you all.
What's your son's name, Julia? And how old is he? I don't know what middle school is. And if you could, because we'd love to send him a message. I would personally love to say to him, congratulations. How proud, Julia, you must be of him. But if you could just send in his name, we can mention his name and his age and all of that and say congratulations to him. Absolutely, that's what we should do. Chris.
Annika's saying she will be there in Connecticut and feels she might even have been the first one to sign up.
Oh, yay. Oh, I'm so looking forward to meeting you. I'm so looking forward to it. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be lovely. I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone there. So that's exciting stuff. Good.
Barbara says, good morning. I was told by a psychic that my husband Donald holds my spirit all the time. I found this confusing. What is your interpretation of that statement? Is it true? I put my trust in you and Gray Eagle.
Yeah. No. I find it confusing as well. But Barbara, we know, don't we, that there are so many people who have somewhat of a gift that it's so easy to get things wrong. It's we were talking, Chris and I were talking yesterday. One of the things that we're going to be doing in one of the workshops that we've already planned for now. One of the things that we're going to be doing is talking about the questions that we need to ask the spirit world, but not just what the question is, but how we pose the question, how we put the question. And there are so many people who are, we'll say that they're sensitive or they're a little bit psychic or what have you, and they really do believe. We know the charlatans, we know that there are charlatans everywhere, but there are also some wonderful people who really believe that they are connecting and communicating clearly, but in fact they're not. And that can be the most dangerous thing, I think, because we can see how sincere they are, You know, what is that saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. I do not see that anyone can hold another's spirit, as she puts it, and besides which, the spirit is the energy that surrounds the soul. So I don't see how that works either. But I would say take it with a little pinch of salt, my darling, because I don't really think that that's true. I don't think anyone can hold on to. They can be close by. They can connect. They can try to connect with you, and often do connect. Those in the spirit world can be by our side. They can be guiding us. They can be helping us. But can they hold our spirit? No, absolutely not. And why would they want to? First of all, again, uh, the spirit is the energy field that surrounds the soul. So if she's going to tell you anything, it should be that she's saying that he holds your soul. But either way, he doesn't. So that's my feeling. Please, everybody, let's, I know that there are a lot of people out there who don't like me when I say this because, they will say that I think I'm the only person who can do this in the world, that I'm the best and all the rest of it. And I'm not saying that at all. But I tell people, even when they're coming to talk to me, even when people come to have a consultation with me, please be skeptical, be open-minded, but don't be afraid to be skeptical. And just because somebody says it's so does not mean that it's so. We all have choices. We have choices in what we believe, and we have choices in what we don't believe. We have so many different choices. So do be careful. And I think it's so easy when people come to see someone like me. We all know this. This is not a secret. We all know that when people come to see someone like me, those people who come to see someone like me are very often extremely vulnerable, and they're willing to believe anything if what is told to them is what they want to hear. That makes it difficult for people like me, because I might tell you what you want to hear, but that's not my aim. I'm telling you what your loved ones in the spirit world would like to tell you. Not necessarily, and I tell a lot of people things that they don't want to hear, trust me. But we try to face realities as we're talking with the spirit world, and as I'm guided by the spirit world to give you help and advice and guidance, I try to make sure that the responsibility of what we do, the responsibility of what I do is huge. It's a huge responsibility. We touch people's hearts and we change people's lives, so we better make sure that we do a very good job, and that we do this in the right way. So sorry, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Barbara, don't believe everything that anybody tells you, and no, I don't think it's possible that somebody can hold your spirit in that way. Ridiculous. There you are. I've said it. No, I didn't mean to say ridiculous. I meant to be a bit more diplomatic than that, but there you have it. It's too late now. Chris.
Andrew says, I was listening last Thursday, and if I have understood it right, when we die, our souls are lifted up.
Yes.
My logic is, I guess, somehow they get a heads up when then it's going to happen.
Yes.
Now, there is an interesting scenario when this doesn't happen, in which case I believe some mediums do rescue work. There's a lady, mature in years at the spiritual church I go to, who used to do this apparently. Also, I read Lord Dowding was also involved. What happened that their souls couldn't be lifted? I think a scenario like this might have been in one of your books to do with an empty house.
Okay, Andrew. Rescue work. It is very rare. The type of mediumship that is needed to do rescue work is extremely rare, very rare. There is very little need for rescue work, but let's be clear. Rescue work. I think your comment was that if you have to rescue someone, it's because their soul hasn't been lifted. That isn't true. The soul has been lifted out, let's say, not necessarily lifted up, but lifted out. We tend to think of heaven as up there, but no, it's all around us, right? So the soul is lifted out, but that soul still, we're still thinking, feeling, breathing, alive, very much alive, might have what they feel is unfinished business, or they might have died in very tragic circumstances and they're not ready to go yet. It's not that the spirit world isn't ready to accept them, it is that they themselves have decided, I'm not going. I am not going. I've got work to do. I've got stuff to say. I've got something to finish. And it is they, it is not the spirit world who refuses them. It is not, let's say, it's not that heaven's gates don't open to them. They do. It is that the person themselves, and remember what I'm saying to you, this is extremely rare. Remember that. It's very, very rare that this happens. But what happens is the soul themselves decide, nah, I don't care how ready you guys are for me, I'm not ready yet. And I tell a story, and I do think, I think it's in the Eagle and Rose, I'm not sure, but whichever book it is, I tell the story of a little girl who I rescued. She had been sick for many, many years, and she had been in what they called a lung machine. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but anyway, she couldn't breathe, and she had severe asthmatic issues, lung issues. And so naturally, eventually, she passed. But because she had this condition, and she'd had this condition practically since she was born, she was very spoiled by her parents, by her aunts and uncles, by anybody and everybody who came in touch with her, by the nurses, by the doctors. I mean, this kid got her own way no matter what. And when it came time that I was asked if I would help to let's say rescue this child, which was the form of rescue really is we don't. It's not like somebody's climbing a rock and we haul them off and hold them in our arms to save them. That is not that at all. But what we try to do is we try to, let's say, talk them down from the ledge. We talk to them. We try whatever we can do to help them to understand that they can't come back. They need to go forward. So it's their choice to be stuck. Let's say. It's their choice not to go forward. And this little girl was very spoiled. She was lovely, but boy, she had temper tantrums, and she would stamp her feet, and if she wasn't going to do something, she wasn't going to do it, and she decided, I'm not leaving my mummy and my daddy. I'm not. That's it. Not it. I want to be with my mummy. I want to be there with my family. So she just, no matter how much coaxing, and no matter how much love, and no matter how much, and her angels were awaiting her in let's say in the tunnel, her angels were waiting for her, her family in the spirit world were waiting for her, and she was having none of it. And no, because she was spoiled little brat, and she thought that she could just get her own way. And my job was to see if I could try to help her to understand what had happened, that she couldn't come back, and that she needed to move forward. And she wasn't having it with me either. But luckily, you see, I've got a way with children, and I've got a way of using psychology against kids sometimes. Yes, I know I'm making myself sound awful, but if you said to this little girl, oh, well, okay, then, well, you can't, she'd say, yes, I can. So using that psychology of, well, you can't go to the light because it's not possible. Sorry, you can't do it. You can't. Yes, I can if I want to. And eventually, that's how we, using encouragement and love and gentleness, that's eventually how she was rescued. Rescued from her own self, rescued from her own decisions, help to understand, and those people who need to be rescued, it's often from the fear, and allowing fear to freeze them into inaction, or freeze them into moving or going forward or backwards or anything. Fear can be a paralyzing emotion, and so so when we talk about rescue work, we're talking about rescuing someone from that fear that they have, that freezing fear that they have, that keeps them in that one place. Wow. See, we're talking about rescue work all of a sudden. Yes, Chris, keep going. We get to the whole variety of topics going on here.
I love it. Bridget's saying, Rosemary, can you explain a little bit about why the spirit world withholds a coming major event during a reading? I had a major house fire and the passing of a close friend after mine. I assume it's because it's something that had to happen and no sense worrying.
Yeah, it's an interesting, very interesting question. I'm glad you've asked it. People always want to know, well, why didn't they warn me of this, and why weren't we told about that, and so on. And sometimes we do need to know. And there have been many times when I'm thinking of one particular woman who, she was perfectly healthy, perfectly well. She came with her friend. They had both had consultations with me, and at some point during the consultation, I said to one of the ladies, you've got a problem with your neck, and she immediately felt the neck, nothing there. She said, no, it's fine. It seems fine. No, it's a bit stiff from time to time, but no. And I said to her, you need to immediately book an appointment with your doctor and get your neck checked out, but you need to do it straight away. Now, I know that it worried her. As you're saying, sometimes we don't tell because we don't want to worry somebody. We don't want people to freeze in fear, wondering when something awful is going to happen. And so often the spirit world, if you're not able to do something about it, or if it's not going to help you by knowing these things, then very often they don't say. But if they feel that you will be helped by being warned about certain things, that's when they will tell you things. In this particular case, with the lady with the neck issue, it turned out she had a massive tumor that was completely undetected because it was buried so deep in her neck, and she ended up having to have surgery and literally having most of one side of her neck cut away and having to wear a collar. Now, there's much more to that story that you can find in one of my books, where uh, she had a choice of dying or not dying. And, you've heard me say so many times, when it is our time to die, we have no choice. But every now and again, we do have certain choices. And one of those choices is, do you want to go or do you want to stay? And this lady had this choice, and I was able to say to her, because she obviously came back to see me, and prior to the surgery, and I said to her, there's going to be a point where you'll be this close, and if you choose to stay, just shout, just call my name. And the nurses afterwards, uh, 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 after she had recovered, said, so who's Rosemary? And I was the only Rosemary she knew. And she said, why are you asking me? She said, because that was the name you were shouting when you were about to go, about to leave us. That was the name you were shouting. So there are times to warn people, and there are times when it's not going to do any good, and it's only going to frighten us. So that's when those things are kept from. If it's going to help, we will be told.
All right, then Amy's saying, are our pets met with loved ones? No, let's say, are our pets met with loved ones that have passed when they transition over?
You betcha. Absolutely. Yes, they are. Um, I know that my daddy has something to do with my puppies. I know that when I see animals in the spirit world, I'll often see them with someone who loves someone who cares about them. I think I once told a story about the man whose wife came to see me. He died, I think, very suddenly of a heart attack, and she was a farmer. Maybe I'll tell that story. Have I told the story of the two geese? Oh well, let's tell it on Saturday anyway because it's such a great story. So, sorry. So started telling the story now. Look, this is the day today. You don't know what you're going to get today. But join in on Saturday if you want to hear the rest of that story about the man, the farmer, and his wife. Make sure to write that down for me, Chris, because I forget. You know what now? I said what? I told them that. I did that. All right. Keep going.
All right. Starla Tech is saying, good morning. In February of 2020, I was blindsided and a real life nightmare began. It still hasn't ended. Does the spirit world have any messages for me? And thank you.
Well, blindsided could mean anything at all. I was talking to a client this week who is going through a very difficult and a very traumatic time. And I apparently had spoken to him a few months before and had given him a heads up that things were going to change for him. And the thing that I said to him, which I also said to him this week when I was talking to him, was everything as you know it will change. Everything as you know it will be almost like being burned to ashes. When there is nothing left of the life that you have known, when there is nothing left that you can, let's say, feel that you can hold on to of the life that you have known previous to this event, we call it rock bottom, whatever it is, but it is ashes, and our lives seem to turn to ashes. But invariably, the phoenix rises out of the ashes. And sometimes we have to lose our idea of our life prior to an event. Sometimes we have to lose our hopes, our dreams, our wishes. We have to lose everything in order to begin again, in order to rise. But all of us will have the opportunity to rise. It's about attitude. When this happens to us, we can do one of two things. We can be paralyzed by the fear of what's happened to us, paralyzed by the fact that everything has changed for us and we don't know where we are anymore. And we can sort of, do nothing. Live, let's say, from then on mediocre lives because that's what we choose because we have allowed ourselves to be paralyzed by fear. Or we can do the other thing, which is to allow that fear, because fear, it won't go away until we face it, until we use it, and we can allow that fear to propel us forward so that we can rise from the ashes of what was and start again and become, let's say, reborn. For those of you who know the story of the phoenix rising from the ashes, I think it's a Chinese thing. I'm just wondering which. I think I've got my phoenix and my dragon on at the moment. Strangely enough, there we are. We've got the phoenix right there. The phoenix will rise from the ashes. In other words, the you that is inside, the power that is you, the real you will overcome, and you will overcome all of the odds. You will overcome all of your fears. You will overcome the terror of finding yourself in a situation that you never imagined that you could find yourself in, and you will rise and you will rise up. And when the phoenix rises, it is a beautiful and incredible and a marvelous thing to see. So I feel that this is what I'm saying to you. I hope you understand what I'm saying to you, because you will, with some difficulty, but you will rise again, and you will rise from the ashes of your devastation, and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at the strength of who you are and who you can become. Chris.
Gabriella says it's been almost 10 months here in my new job, and I'm still very uncomfortable. Is there anyone from my relatives in the spirit world who would like to give me any advice? Thanks a lot.
Gabrielle, you know I love you. Attitude, attitude, attitude is everything. I've said it at least twice on the show this morning. Maybe it is time you started to think. It's not everyone else. It's not the job. Maybe you need to adjust your thinking. Try to be a little bit more open, my darling. It's hard, especially when you have insecurities, especially when you're shy. It's so hard to be, you know, to be more outgoing, but you need to, if you can, and I think you can, you need to sit back and assess what is it that's making you uncomfortable. Because I feel that what is making you uncomfortable is not everyone else around you. And I don't think it's even the job, because you can do it. You just have to trust that you can do it. So I think your discomfort comes from you and comes from within you and your insecurities. You've got to start believing in yourself, sweetie. If you start to believe in yourself, if you put a smile on your face, if you act as if you're confident, eventually you will become confident. Sometimes we've got to, what is that phrase? Fake it till you make it. You've heard me tell about my past and the smile on my face that used to, I used to put the smile on my face, and when I got home, uh, uh, after a day's work, that smile would not come off, and I would sit on the stairs crying because I couldn't get the smile off of my face. Uh, Life was so awful. Talk about discomfort. Life was so awful in those times, but I kept putting the smile on my face because I refused to give in. I refused to sit down. I refused to cry in front of other people. I refused to be put down, because I didn't have a choice. I had to keep moving forward. I had my daughter, so I had to keep moving forward for her. But eventually, I remember driving one day in my car, and I was laughing about something. I was listening to something on the radio, or whatever it was, and it suddenly occurred to me, hold on, the smile, it's real. I'm really smiling. This is real. So fake it till you make it, sweetie. But take a look at you, what you're doing inside, and you need to be more confident. You need to believe in yourself more. Chris.
Barb's asking, I often wonder what the souls look like in the spirit world before coming into this life. Please share.
Oh, Barbara. I love the question. Love, love, love the question. But we simply don't have the time. And I'm not sure even if I could describe it if I did have the time. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to put that question down, and at some point in the future, keep my fingers crossed, we'll be able to find time to look at that and to see if we can figure it out. But I love the question. Chris.
DNA is asking, what does Gray Eagle have to say about ETs, extraterrestrials?
All right, well, I'll give you his words right now. He's laughing. I want to give you his words exactly. There's more to the universe than we can possibly imagine. We would not use the word extraterrestrial. That's fascinating. I'm not sure if I could really get carried away with this one. We would not use the term extraterrestrial. Beings 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 are to be valued. They are seen differently by us on this earth. They are seen differently by you who are on this earth, but be open. There are more things in heaven and earth than you could possibly know. I'm following up on that later. Tell you now, Chris.
All right. Carolyn said, no, I'm going to, oh, Carolyn's answering your question. Do you want her to answer your rumination question?
Yes.
She said, I think when it's not so easy, it's hard, is really when we have the best opportunity to learn.
Yay! Carolyn, you got it in one. Yay!
All right, then we'll move to Lorraine. Lorraine says, good morning.
Good morning.
When people that you knew in the past come into your dreams, is there a meaning behind it? A message? I do not know if they are in spirit world.
Well, sometimes when people from our past come into our dreams, it could simply be that they have passed and they're coming to visit us. It could be some kind of telepathic connection. Maybe they're thinking about you as they get older, or maybe they oh, do you remember that girl? We were best friends, so on and so forth. And it could be that their energy is being put out there into the universe. Those thoughts are the most powerful things that we have. Thoughts are living things, and they bounce around the universe. So it may be that you've caught hold of her, somehow connected with, on the same vibrational level in that moment, to connect with that person's thoughts. There are lots of different reasons why we start to think, or why we might see someone in our dreams, or why we might connect with them. And it could simply be that they are thinking about us and would like to just remind us of their presence and their friendship, perhaps.
All right, this one's a little long, Rosemary. So Lisa says, on this day last year, after not hearing from him, I walked into my cousin Patrick's house and found him in his bed dead. He had heavenly music playing on his computer. Several things didn't add up as to why or how he died, but he wanted to go. He was ready. He was 64. His mom died 3 years earlier. He was crushed. The night before, I took him some food, waved it through his bedroom door to smell, and then placed it in the fridge. This was not an unusual thing. Anyway, we went down his dirt road, turned to the bottom road, went down around the first curve, and right there in the corner of a yard was a baby deer nursing mom right by the road. Looking back, I know Patrick's spirit was already reunited with his mom.
Yes.
Several occurrences happened following his death to show me his spirit is near and watching out for me. I plan on writing about it all. It has been an amazing experience. I have grown because of it. You have made it so easy to understand. So thank you.
Well, I love that. And thank you so very much for sharing that with us all. Wow, what a great experience. Chris.
Lorraine says, ruminate. Karma is powerful, so be kind to improve your karma going forward.
We always try. We really do. We always try.
All right, then, because we're right at time, Rosemary, I'm going to scoot back up to Andrew, who had a second question, if I can find that quickly enough. Oh, let's see.
We can wait.
All right, here we go. The other thing I was curious about is whether there are arguments in the spirit world. I find myself, I am a very simple, meek chap, not one to rock the boat. So of course it wouldn't happen to me. But are there arguments in the spirit world, people that act like conciliation arbitrators?
I tell a story. I can't tell you too much now, but I tell a story about a young man who, between his mother and his grandmother, and it was their responsibility, and the grandmother admitted that she was at fault. He became, well, let's say, mentally unstable, and had lots of issues due to his, mostly due to his mother, but also his grandmother as well. They brought him up, and I'm not going to tell you the ins and outs of it, but having tried to kill himself um, over 20 times, several times, a healer friend of mine who had been dealing with him as a patient called me and said, can I bring this young man to see you, Rosemary? And oh boy, that was a consultation that I will remember, because we had the mother and the grandmother who had now passed into the spirit world, and they both came to talk to him and talk about arguments. They were fighting and arguing amongst themselves, and I had to say to them on more than one occasion, keep this up and I won't talk to you, and I will not relay what you want to say to your son, your grandson. Just keep it up between you, keep arguing, and you'll find that I will shut you out. So do people in the spirit world argue? They do. Do people, that are people able to help, to arbitrate, as you put it? Yes. And I think that when we pass into the spirit world, those of us who have so many things unsaid, and if only I'd have spoken to her, if only I'd have stopped arguing with my brother, if only blah blah blah, people who have left unfinished things behind them, they do have, I suppose you could call it an arbitrator, they do have people who are there to help them with those issues. Absolutely. Good questions today, everybody. I've loved them. I've really enjoyed the show this morning. Yes, on Saturday morning it will be story time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to tell you about this farmer and his wife. Those of you who have heard the story before, don't be disheartened, because you maybe not heard me tell it, but you might have read about it. But we might tell another story as well. Well, who knows what we're going to do on Saturday morning, but it is story time. Tomorrow evening, I think it's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's my time on the East Coast, or actually on the Gulf Coast of Florida. So it'll be 5 p.m. my time, and it will be 10 p.m. UK time. We are doing a cracking up with my friends Kay and Kay. We're going to be having a lot of fun. We always have a lot of fun on cracking up. So do please join us then. So we've got that tomorrow. We've got story time on Saturday. Boy, oh boy, you're making me work, you guys. On Monday, we're going to be having our healing session. And for all the other stuff that we're up to, please go to the website, rosemaryaltea.com, and you'll see our calendar. You'll see all the things that we go to do. If you would like to subscribe, you'll get a newsletter once a month. Some of you have heard me talk about the newsletter, and they're saying, where can we get it from? Well, you've got to subscribe to get the newsletter. Thank you to all of you I've had so many comments about the newsletter this month, saying how much you liked it and how inspired and so on and so forth. So thank you all for that. Thank you for reading what I have to say to you all. So we've got lots going on, and so all that's left for me to say today is thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you to Chris. You do such a great job. We really appreciate it. And of course, last but not least, thank you to my darling Grey Eagle for everything that he does, and thanks for the kids. Until I see you all again, everybody, please have a very, very blessed rest of the day and have a very blessed weekend, everybody. Bye bye.